Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear Islam. We had a little bit of difficulties coming to you, but bear with us, inshallah. This is the first time back after Ramadan, so jazakumullah khairan, welcome back. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, family, health and wealth. This brother Alaa coming back to you live from Isna, alhamdulillah, after the Eid and after Ramadan. May Allah accept from all of you. I'm sure most of us have recovered, and don't look at the clock. It's been 1:45 for a long time, and due to budget cuts, we cannot afford. No, we will get, inshallah, batteries, and we can work again. So today is the first session as we're going to go, inshallah, every time that we're going to have a program for you. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to go back to the book of guidance, Imam al-Ghazali, rahmatullah alayh, and Wednesdays, we're going to do question and answers as you go on our website, ask the scholar. Again, I'm not a scholar, I'm learning, alhamdulillah. We ask our scholars and we bring you the questions and answer for the questions you ask, inshallah. We have 3 questions today, but I want to address what's going on in the world, indeed, about the racism and what Islam says about it. And given, we have to talk about the current issues, and that's something that I take dear to heart. And again, the gloves are off. We're not going to say anything that's anything that's obviously not politically correct or whatever that may be, but we still have to address these issues, and it's a question that is not posed, but I feel strongly to talk about it, and especially what's going on in the world. So please bear with me and hang in there. We will address your questions first, and I will talk about, inshallah, what's going on in the world and what comes to racism, what Islam says about it, and so on. So first of all, thank you for taking us back into your homes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. So the questions today were 3 actually. 2 of them were about mortgages, loans for homes, and so on. We talked about this before, but that's okay. We will talk about it again, inshallah. And the other one is it okay to buy stocks in Air Canada? Look, I'm a frequent flyer with Air Canada. I'm almost a miler. Miler means a million. Million miles with them. So I don't want to say anything to jeopardize that. But I'm just going to talk in what the scholars say. The scholars say you're not allowed to ask to buy scholars. No, you're not allowed to buy scholars. You're not allowed to buy stocks in 5 areas. Obviously, anything to do with banks, anything to do with alcohol, anything to do with arms, anything to do with pork, anything to do with porn. These are the 5 things that you have to stay away from. So you can look into the the ethical funds. You can look into special apps. There are apps now, actually, believe it or not. There's an app that you can take a look at the company. It will tell you halal haram. Okay, so that's, alhamdulillah, a lot of brothers put into the time and the effort into it. So that's something that you can download. It will tell you right away whether the company is halal haram to buy stocks in or not. So this is something I highly recommend. So usually there are some general ideas about when you do your buying purchase of a stock, does the company have more liabilities or assets, right? Because you have to look into the balance sheet. If the company is in debt, you cannot actually buy stocks in it, and it has to be ethical. You have to stay from all of these, the 5 things that I mentioned earlier. So by all means, this is something that alhamdulillah we have done a little bit of research, and hopefully we can help you through it. I can see some comments now. Alaikum salam katu Sheikh. May Allah bless you, Brother Ihsan. I can name some apps. Okay, perfect. I'll do my best, inshallah, if I don't bring it to you today. But I know a friend of mine that actually sent me the app. I'll do my best to do so, inshallah. And if I don't have it for you today, I'll have it for you next time, inshallah. So again, I'm going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, all time at 7 o'clock, inshallah, except Saturday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to go back to the book of guidance, Imam al-Ghazali. On Wednesdays, we talk about the questions and answers. On Fridays, we're going to go with all the mashayikh, answering your concerns and asking your issues that you want to talk about when it comes to the masjid or the community, or anything that we can help with, or answering questions by all means. Saturdays, inshallah, will be on at 2 o'clock, continuing with the akhlaq series. Okay, so we're going to continue with that as we started before Ramadan. We're going to continue after Ramadan, inshallah. All right. So today, inshallah, the first one we talked about is Air Canada. So these are the issues that we're going to talk about. For example, they do serve alcohol, they do serve pork, they do all of that stuff. So my recommendation is just follow the guidelines. Okay, so remember to stay away from alcohol, stay away from pork, stay away from porn, stay away from arms, stay away from banks. Yeah, these are the 5 things. And look into the ethical funds. Look into does the company have more assets and liabilities, right? The balance sheet. This is something that you can look into. So hopefully that will answer this question. The other 2 questions were actually about mortgage. So I mentioned before that you know, we have halal mortgage now, alhamdulillah. I'm not talking about every Tom and Dick and Harry that comes on board and says I'm halal. You know, I've looked into this a lot, and I've, as I mentioned, I've moved 20 times, so I know, you know, trying, you know, to find the right thing or doing whatever. We're not speaking of higher horse, again, clarifying that, wallahi. But I'm telling you that I have talked to Dr. Tawfiq Chaudhry. He did the contract with Dr. Tawfiq did it with Ayah Financial. The brother is actually comes to ISNA. His name is Saeed Rayhan. If you want to do that, by all means, feel free. If not, then you can contact me. I'll give you his number. It's on the website. So Ayah Financial, AYA Financial. I actually bought my house through them. Okay, so alhamdulillah, that's what I can tell you. Now, do I have anything that's 100% halal? I don't have that. But now I'm just saying, now the lesser both evils. Now, if you want to go to this and that. So here's what we usually get. How come, Sheikh? You know, why is it then do we have to this? Are they a middleman? Like, I know some companies are middleman. They actually take you to the bank and make you sign the contract that has interest in it. So I'm telling you, these type of people, which I know I'm not going to name, okay? If you do your homework, you'll find out. They take you to the bank. They simply take commission from, they're just a broker. Okay, so that's, these ones I will never support. Okay, but the brothers that have something else, but the contract in itself is halal, and the interest is not there, and they do musharaka, meaning they come with you as a partner, and then as you pay, things get you have more stock into it. That is understandable. And here I am, I'm talking about ISNA. You know, I'm employed by ISNA. I talk to the people who run the housing. I said, even Sheikh Abdullah Idris said that. And wallahi, we fear none except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I actually told the brothers at ISNA that we're not 100% halal. So again, everybody has their own. I love everyone, but this is an amana now, right? All we have to remember is if you're musharaka, you're up together and down together. The only issue I had with them, that were only up together but not down together, and they justified with something else. I was with them. I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not knocking anybody down. I'm just saying, I've asked a question, I have to tell you now. The other ones, brothers and sisters, what we say is, okay, what's the difference? The difference is the bank gives you money, and they want money for their money. You understand? Okay, so the bank, you want to go buy a house. So what do you do? You go say, I want to buy a house. So okay, no problems, we'll do all the paperwork. Here's money. They don't give you a house. They give you money. So now what do they want in return of the money? They want money back. And that's aynul riba. That is exactly what riba, that's what usury is all about. I give you money, give you more money. Now I understand there are different opinions. I got it. And bay' al-ajal and all of that stuff, and you know what, the delayed purchase and all of these things. I got it. I get it. But it's up to you. As I said before, we only can relay the message, we cannot force anything. And those people who take Dr. Qadawi's fatwa, and it was so long ago, and for a Palestinian man that had 8 children, and I understand it, under necessity, no scholar will tell you don't do it. Under necessity. You have no alternatives. Meaning what? I cannot rent a house. I cannot rent an apartment. Because I have too many children, every time I rent something, they will kick me out. Because I'm making too much noise and all of that stuff. I tell you, it's a darura, because you're going to be living in the streets, you and your children. That's a darura, it's a necessity. Or if you put your son in harm's way, your children in harm's way, that's a necessity. Okay, so that's a given. But if you don't have it, then you don't have it, akhi and ukhti. So if I tell you, if there is 10 doctors, 9 out of 10 doctors will tell you, go ahead and eat the apple. Yeah, and one of the doctors will tell you, don't eat the apple. If you eat this apple, you get cancer. Most likely say, oh no, you know what? I'm afraid. I'm not going to do it. But I tell you, 10 ulama, 9 out of the scholars tell you it's haram. It's not allowed to go to the bank. So you're going to listen to the one scholar that tells you this, especially when we have alternatives now, and they're very comparable. They're not going to kill you. And I told the brothers, wallahi, Allah is my witness. I told them, you guys are doing halal, dhabiha halal. Yes? You are killing the brothers who actually want to do the right thing. You are killing the people who want to do a halal mortgage. So I wasn't very happy with all of this stuff. So why do we make halal difficult and haram easy? So we have to come up with a better combination in order for us to be able to address the concern. We're working on a few things in order for us to make it. It's a big market. We have the numbers now, brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah. So if we do that, inshallah, we'll come around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come around. As I said before, there are some, quite a few now, halal mortgage ones that you can check, do your homework, and hopefully that will be a good alternative for you. So that's, I don't want you to have a house here in this dunya to lose your house in the hereafter. It's not worth it, wallahi. How could you lose a house that is made of brick of silver and a brick of gold waiting for you? For a house that's made of drywall and mud and some wood, yeah? It's not worth it, wallahi. So let's do the right thing as much as you can, inshallah. These were the two, wallahu a'lam, God knows best. So I compared before, the bank gives you money and he wants back money in return. That's the riba. But the other ones they give you, they buy the house with you. So what did they do? They give you a house. They don't give you the money. You understand the difference? So they said البيع مثل ربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. They say, well, the buying and selling is the same as riba. You know, the contract is there, you give me something. No difference. Allah made this halal and made that haram. As I said before, you buy something, you go to the market, you give them money, they give you fruit. You give them money, you give you a merchandise. But the bank gives you money, he wants money back. So it's money exchange. There's no product here. There's no product exchange. There is no bay'. You understand? It's riba. I give you money, give me more money. That's exactly what riba is about, brothers and sisters. But if you give somebody money and you give you a house, that is buying and selling. And hopefully that you understand this part, inshallah. طيب. Now let's talk about this, what's going on in the world, and you know, without trying to be so much into politics and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you go back to the ayat in the hadith and you saw what happened to you know, the George Floyd and the racism and and so on and so forth, and how could a life be taken so easily, and obviously there's so much more, but we haven't obviously uncovered all of that stuff. Okay, so what does Islam say about it, and how do we address these issues, and how do we feel about it? I have seen the pendulum. I've heard some brothers say, you know, I don't care about these people. Wallahi, my wudu is better than, you know, this man killed. For me to know how many dates I eat, and the sunnah, how to wipe on the top of my foot, is much better for me. I don't care if this man dies. I don't care. Wallahi, akhi, may Allah help you. May Allah guide you. May Allah forgive you. Yeah, because of the ayat and the hadith, you cannot have this mental attitude. You cannot have the attitude as a Muslim seeing injustice. We're not after anyone that's black or white or brown or yellow. It doesn't matter. We're colorblind. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he talked about Hizb al-Fudul, you know, the party of the Fudul, which means what? All the parties were in it called Fadl, so they called the Fudul. Or the fudul meaning benevolence, and they used to help everyone. They used to help everyone, no matter whether they're Muslim or not Muslims. And that's exactly what a Muslim is supposed to do. A Muslim is supposed to do exactly the right thing. So if we're not going to stand up for justice, we are next, and we suffer. And I complain about the same thing you complain about. I told you before how many times, every time I go to the airport, you know, I'm screened. I actually went to Costco the other day. I didn't make a big deal out of it the first time, but if the person does the same thing again, I'm going to talk to the manager, of course. You know, I was going into Costco, and there's so many people in front of me, and so many people came after me. Nobody was asked about the membership except, guess who? I was the only one asked about, do you have membership? I was looking around, all these people, you know, look normal, you know what I mean? But except the guy looks like this, with a dark skin, with a beard, and you know what? And the people behind me, nobody was asked after me, nobody was asked before me. Of course, you know, it does, you're a human being. You will start wondering why, right? Once in a while it's no problem, but you can see a trend, then it hurts. So you can understand now, the brothers get this done all the time, especially in certain countries. Look, I come from a place, I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. You know, the police come knock on your door at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, they're not asking you, you need some help, if you know what I mean. So we know why, we live it, man. We've been there, done that. So it's very difficult, very difficult. How do you explain that to your children if you're being treated like that? How do you explain that to people when they see an officer has his neck on somebody's, his knee or somebody's neck, and he's dying, they say, check his pulse a few times, 3 minutes, and you've seen it. I'm not going to tell you something you don't know. You understand? Very difficult. How do you explain that? You know, how do you justify that? How do you have this power that you're above all? This authoritarian, this something that I have the power over you. I can do whatever I want. It's not a God-given right, man. So, inshallah, obviously it hurts, it's disheartening, it's not acceptable according to Islam whatsoever, and none of us should ever say, this person doesn't belong to, it's not a Muslim. Wallahi, it's not an Islamic thing to say that, akhi and ukhti. Yes? And I will tell you the proof of that, inshallah. Prophet says, nafs, I'll give you. من قتل نفس بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Allah subhanahu wa jalla fi ula min ajli dhalika katabna ala bani Israel and so on. The ayah, the meaning is, if you kill a soul, remember the word in Arabic is called nafs. He didn't say al-nafs. There's no alif lam. It's mubhama, not mu'arrafa. It is indefinite, not definite. You see, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, man qatala nafsan mu'mina muqayyada, not mutlaqa. It's restricted, not unrestricted. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not use the word alif lam, the letter is alif lam, that means any soul. Black, white, yellow, brown, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, agnostic, atheist, anything. Any human being on the face of the earth has rights upon us. Allah subhanahu wa jalla says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'il li ta'arafu, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. We know this off by heart. We memorize it, man. All human beings, and when you talk about nas, they didn't say Muslims, they didn't say believers, he didn't say disbelievers. He says human beings, all human beings. We have created you from a male and a female. Adam and Eve. What does that make us? Brothers and sisters. Exactly that. Brothers and sisters in humanity. So no matter who's out there, what color, what creed, what gender, where the origin, and whatever it is, this is what language they speak. Yes, what color is the skin. They are our brothers and sisters in humanity according to this verse. Now, we love them as a human being, but we abhor and dislike and not approve of their actions and behaviors and beliefs. Understand? But as a human being, they have rights upon us. Now I understand also that happens to our brothers in Palestine every day. That the Israeli soldiers will put their knee on the brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Palestine, every day. Yes, and you'll see it, but people turn the other cheek. But because they had traffic now and people are doing it, I'm not saying if it's any type of life matters. All life matters. All life matters. Now it doesn't matter. We have to stand up for justice. We have to stand up for what's right. And you cannot say, no, because I'm a Muslim and he's not a Muslim. Wallahi, may Allah help you, because that's an ignorant statement in itself. May Allah guide us when it comes to that. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when a Jewish man, when a Jewish janazah was going by, a funeral by, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ stood up. He says, this is a Jewish person. He says, isn't it a ruh? Isn't it a soul? So he actually respected that. You understand? Now I understand that Muslims are being persecuted everywhere. I got it. I got it, Sheikh. I got that we've been, you know what, they're killing us right, left and center. I got it. But does that make us now, you know what, because these guys did this, we'll do that. Is retribution in this case, revenge killing, is that allowed in Islam? Not allowed in Islam. We still have to be restrained. It hurts. Yes. Yes, it does. Sometimes you can't even go to sleep because injustice hurts. It says يَتَجَرَّع. Prophet says you have to be patient. It's like يَتَجَرَّع, you know what that means? You're taking a medicine. It tastes bad to swallow, stuff to swallow. But that's why justice will be done on Judgment Day. So لَا ظُلْمَ الْيَوْمِ, no oppression on that day. Now you understand that, brothers and sisters? So please, make sure that we don't go to extreme, one way or the other. Yeah? Don't go, we stand up for justice, no matter where in the world, we stand up for justice. And it's not the right thing to do to ignore it. It's not. Unless you're going to get yourself in trouble or get killed, I understand. There's a rukhsa, there's permission to save your life, got it. But alhamdulillah, we live in a democratic country with the understanding of the proper understanding of democracy and so on. Not the false one, not the one that goes against our beliefs and system. I got it, but I don't want to keep turning this into Aqidah issue and explain every statement and so on. I hope you don't read between the lines and cut and paste and your own whims and desires. The intention is there to just make sure that we do the right thing and justify it. So if we know that there are brothers and sisters, no matter what, we have to stand up for what's right. And we ask them to do the same. We ask all humanity to stand up for what's right. Don't pick and choose. So don't turn a close eye when it comes to what happened to Muslims around the world and say you're not with us. Well, You know what? I can't generalize because some of them have been very supportive. Some of the Jewish people that I know were more supportive than some of the so-called Muslims in some of the Gulf region. They are so hypocrite. It's unbelievable what they say and what they do. I don't want you to go extreme one way or the other to fall in the love of the West and say, you know what? Look, I'm a moderate Muslim now. It doesn't work that way, akhi and ukhti. We stick to Quran and Sunnah and do our best to our ability, and that's it. So we can meet Allah when we're clear. We can meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what? You sold your soul, man. You sold your deen to somebody else's dunya. It's not worth it, wallahi. It's only life, Sheikh. Yeah, it's only life, so you're not going to do that. طيب, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, where does this come from, by the way? Where does this racism come from? Anybody? Maybe I'll give you a few seconds. Who's the owner of this racism? Who is the first creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Said, أنا خير منه. I gave it away, yeah? I am better than him. Anyone? If somebody's listening, you'll hopefully tell me on the comments, who is that lovely person that we try not to imitate or follow in his footsteps because we don't want to be with him? Okay, so it's shaitan. You know that now. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, prostrate in respect, bow to Adam in respect, not in worship, because no one should do that except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, أنا خير منه. What did he create from? طين. طين من نار. I was created from fire and he was created from mud. I'm superior. So does that sound familiar, brothers? I'm black. You know what? You created him. I'm white. Yes, I'm superior. This person's black. I'm white, man. You know, I'm definitely much better than him. So you understand, this comes from shaitan. So if you ever say, I am better than him, because based on your skin color, based on what hair, what color eyes you have, what color this, and where do you come from, and is it from the north or the south, or tribalism, or isms, or any country you come from, wallahi, you belong to shaitan, not ar-Rahman. You can't. You can't tell me, because Prophet Muhammad says, لا يفضل عربي على أعجمي إلا بالتقوى ولا أبيض على أسود إلا بالتقوى. No one is better. No Arab is better than a non-Arab, or black over a white, or white over black, except with taqwa. So the measuring stick in Islam, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The one that will tell you, you are better than me, not because of your skin, not because of your language, nothing because of anything else. Because you have taqwa, more taqwa than me. I love you, man. Let me be like you. Please teach me, sunset. How did you get there, man? How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer your dua? Not because you got the better car, or better house, or better wife, or better job. Life, Sheikh. It's life. It comes and goes, wallahi. La tadum. If you think it stays, look at the world. Who would have thought this? Businesses are upside down, countries upside, everything comes and goes. The people thought that we were secured for the rest of I can actually guarantee my grandchildren. Where? How do you guarantee that? It could come to you like this and it goes like this. So please understand that we don't have. So I can't have any brothers and sisters right now as Muslims. Don't tell me, no, I cannot marry this sister to this brother because of the skin shade. I'm talking about our own. I'm telling you, we have to clean up the house. We have to clean up, as Muslims, we have to clean up the house first. We look at our own prejudice. We look at our people, whether they speak Arabic or don't speak Arabic. Oh, she's not an Arab. Oh, she's a Pakistani. Oh, she's Indian. Oh, she's from London. She's from. I hear this all the time. It's mind-boggling. When are we going to get over this? We can say he's a Muslim. I understand compatibility. I get it. Capiche? Culture this, and we're going to make it easy and all this. But you cannot use that card, akhi and ukhti. There's not one of those cards that the four criteria we talk about, the Quran and Sunnah, and the brothers and the sisters and all of that stuff. So don't tell me, you know what, I'm not going to give my daughter to this guy, or not going to give my son to the girl because of her skin color. I hate that. When I get the brothers, what do you want, brothers? And I talk about this all the time. I'm not going to stop talking about it till you stop talking about it. Okay? Says, what do you want, Sheikh? What do you want for the girl? White skin, Sheikh. Anything else? Not really. It's just white. Okay, here you go, man. White girl. Dude, you're going to have to pay the price now because she's now the comfort, she doesn't have this. I deal with the brothers all the time. And they're complaining about, well, I can't get this, my children, I'm losing. Well, you just chosen the skin color over taqwa, religion, khuluq, and deen, all of that stuff the Prophet told me about. And you did the same, ukhti. Why, when I get the calls about my husband's doing this, why did you say yes to that, ukhti? Yes? Okay, so we have to clean up the house first when our own prejudice. as Muslims toward other Muslims, then we have the right to say. I'm not telling you not to say anything. You do. You have to stand up for what's right. Whether it's peaceful demonstration according to the laws of the land, don't do anything wrong. Don't break houses, don't burn this, and don't tell me I'm mad. Yes, you have the right to be mad, but you will be held accountable to how you actually acted according to your behavior and emotions. It's not open just to, you know what, I'm mad, I'm gonna burn this, and I'm gonna burn that, I'm gonna break this, you cannot do that. So we said, raise the banner. Yes, if you insist but to disobey Allah in treating me, I insist but to obey Allah in treating you. That's how I see it. Because you will not be held accountable in front of Allah on Judgment Day how people treated you, but you will be held accountable how you treated others on Judgment Day by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't take the easy route. So no, I'm justified. I'm justified to go ahead and burn this and kill that and do this because they did this to our this and our that. Well, do the same to the people who did it. Hold them accountable first by the law of the land. We have rules and regulations, akhi and ukhti. So please understand that. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no unsuriyah. Ya Fatima, i'mali, go ahead and do your actions. I will not help you on Judgment Day. In Sadaqat Fatima laqata'tu yadaha. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, talking about his own, he loved Fatima so much. He used to stand up radiallahu anhu and Ahl Bayt al-Athari ajma'in. He used to stand up and give him her own seat, her seat, and he kissed her on her forehead. How are you doing with your daughter, man? Still kissing her forehead, giving her a hug, run to you, not run away from you. Remember that? Yeah. So he told, Ya Fatima, if you steal, I will cut your hand. He didn't say لَقُطِعَتْ يَدَهَا مَبْنِي الْمَجْهُولِ in the third person. I will command somebody to cut her hand. He said, no. If you, Fatima, if you steal, I will personally cut your own hand. That's justice. That's not because, you know what the other one, what happened in the other hadith? What does it say? It says, nations before you were destroyed because if the noble steals, they let him go. But if the poor steals, they establish the had, they establish the penalty. Does that sound familiar, mate? Yeah, the whatever those noble of society, they can steal a land, they can steal your family, they can steal your property, no problems. But if somebody else does it, look at that, we establish justice. But for me, I'm Ilyatul Qawm, I'm the noble, I have things. Isn't that what happened? Don't worry about it. You know what they look upon, you look me down, guess what happens on Judgment Day? Those people who are arrogant and unjust and tyrants, they will be resurrected with ants, like ants' body, crawling on the ground on Judgment Day with just their face. Because they stepped on people on the dunya, people will be stepping on them on Judgment Day. So don't worry, akhi and ukhti. It's only life. I'm just going to keep reminding you, it's only life. It's only life. Keep your head high. Stay up moral. Do the right thing. Don't be shaken. Don't fall off somebody's lap. Be firm. Don't sit on anybody's lap. Because when they stand up, you will be the first one to go. Alright. So even Abu Dharr al-Ghafari radiallahu anhu wardah, among the greatest Sahaba, he got upset with one of the slaves. He actually said, he made fun of his mother. You son of a black mother. So Prophet Muslim could not take it. Abu Dharr al-Ghafari, إنك امرئ فيك جاهلية. You still have the pre-Islamic ignorant era in you. You're still not pure yet. It's ليس منا. It is not of us. It's not Islamic to say, you know what, you're a mother of this, you're a father of that, your skin color is this, and we can't. ليس مني. It's not Islamic teaching. It's not of us. I haven't taught you that. Yeah. Even يا معشر الأنصار, يا معشر المهاجرين. You know when they drew their sword, when they fought over something, the water and so on. So you know what, O Muhajirin, O Ansar, come in my aid. Is أبي دعوة الجاهلية وأنا بين ظهرانيكم دعوها إنها منتنة. You're still calling by the ignorant pre-Islamic era before, and I'm still here. بين ظهرانيكم. I'm amongst you. I'm still alive. So what happens after I go? We know what happened after you went to a messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, keep it in perspective. We stand in solidarity with anyone. We stand in solidarity with justice, and justice is blind. Doesn't matter. We still have to do it. But as we are there for them, we ask them to be with us also in solidarity, in justice, especially when it comes to the Muslim issues around the world that has been under the rug. Everybody's turning the blind eye. But as I said, if they do turn a blind eye in this life, no one will be able to turn a blind eye on Judgment Day, whether you like it or not. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. Who is the sovereign today? Who is Who is the king of this court today? Allah subhanahu jalla fi'ala. So you cannot bribe the angels nor lie to Allah, and so on and so forth. You cannot give me movies and series to brainwash people, to make you feel certain things certain ways. You cannot use your subliminal messages. You cannot use your word association with Dr. Pavlov theory, Islamic jihad, Islamic terrorist, Islamic Muslim that, and all of that stuff is not going to work anymore. It's too late then. Okay. So again, Allah subhanahu jalla fi'ala made sure وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam, have elevated and honored the human being. So a human soul means a lot. So I mentioned again, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it. It says any soul, if you kill a soul, remember, go back to the ayah, من قتل نفس بغير نفس أو فساد فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. In Islam, the teaching is, if you kill an innocent soul, as I mentioned before, if you kill an innocent soul, as if you killed the humanity. That's how severe it is. And if you save a soul, as if you saved humanity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave a woman that is the lady of the night because she quenched the thirst of a dog. She saved the life of a dog, man. Could you understand? We stand in solidarity to save a life, to establish justice. And you understand, a woman went to hellfire because she killed a cat. A cat. She didn't get her food or let her go out to eat from what it is. So please understand where we stand on this. And according to Quran and Sunnah, we have to help. We have to stand for justice. And understand also that somewhere in India, one of the politicians says that Muslims have no right. Muslims are subhuman. Do you believe it? In 2020, this ignorance still happens. And people are still okay with it. Whatever is happening. You see why we're actually emotionally attached? Because we've been living this for a long time. Yes? You know, I'm not saying what one person turns, it doesn't matter. But what's right is right and what is wrong is wrong. And that's exactly what we're after. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us the keys to open the gates of goodness and close the gates of evil. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us what is right as right and follow it, and what is wrong as wrong and stay away from it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it good role models for others to become Muslims because of us, and not to stay away from Islam because of us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, guide us, give us the ability to be able to say La ilaha illallah before we die, and make our last words to be La ilaha illallah, and tawbah before we die, and a good ending, and our best deeds to be the last deeds, and the best days to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. Ameen wa akhlam alhamdulillah rabbil alameen wa sallallahu alayhi wa sahbihi wa tabi'in. Jazakumullah anna khaira for your time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. We will inshallah see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock again for the book of guidance. Don't forget my dua. I won't forget you my dua. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma hamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu.